Are verbal contracts binding? And what can you, as a private investigator, do about it if a client comes to you with this problem? Hi, Larry Kaye, ShadowAnyone.com, and the creator of the Investigator's Ultimate Guide series, premium private investigator training from someone who's been there and done that. Here's the problem that will happen is two parties will get into an agreement, a verbal agreement. They think everything is fine, and then the deal will fall apart. One person will lose, sometimes drastically, and they get an attorney. Now, if you have questions about contracts, contract law is an extremely complex thing. If you were in law school, you'd probably spend at least a semester studying it. So if you have questions about contracts, talk to an attorney. As a private investigator, if someone comes to you with this problem, direct them to an attorney and then have the attorney contact you. But when this comes to you, a lot of times it will be a law firm, a client of yours, an attorney client, who brings you this problem where there was a verbal contract and the attorney is going to give you, they know what they want in order to prove or strengthen their case, and they're going to ask you to go get that information. Let me give you a case study here once of when this happened for me. A woman made a major purchase from a manufacturing company, custom manufacturing some items. And there were a lot of, while there was a signed contract in this case, there were a lot of verbal promises that were made to this woman. And when all of this fell apart, she went to an attorney, and it's interesting. If she had picked a different attorney, it might have gone a different way. But this guy said, okay, let's try something. Let's give our investigator a call and see what he can do for us. And he called me up. And here's what I did. I went into the manufacturing facility wearing a wire and posing as a potential buyer. And what the attorney wanted is he wanted to hear if this person in the manufacturing facility made these same promises to me that were outside of the written contract. And if the person did make those promises to me, the attorney could make a strong case that these verbal promises were made to his client as well. So I go in. It was a very interesting thing. As posing as a potential customer, I was really able to get wide access to this facility, including the manufacturing floor and a real tour and look around at things. And I did end up capturing all of these verbal promises that the person made. It was just exactly, almost word for word, what our female client had said the promise had been made to her. So I bring this recording and my report back to the attorney, and a court date is set. And outside of the courtroom, the attorney approaches this guy and says, "Hey, I'm attorney for for the woman who's brought you to court here, for the plaintiff, and I just want you to know I had an investigator go in undercover, and we've got recordings of you making all of these verbal promises." And I was there in the hallway as well, back away. The guy didn't see me, but when the attorney said this, the guy, the defendant, just lowered his head. The wind came out of his sails. You could tell that he knew instantly he was defeated. And they settled out of court right there in the passageway. Never had to go in for a trial. So this was very strong evidence. And here's the key thing: I got what the attorney asked for in the way the attorney wanted to get it. Sometimes attorneys are very uncomfortable with covert recordings. A lot of times it's going to make you or your side look kind of skeevy, and a lot of attorneys won't go for that. Make sure your attorney understands, you understand what your attorney wants and needs. Let me take this one step further. Everybody likes to hear the case studies. Everybody likes to hear the tricky little things that we can do to collect evidence. But for the investigators out there, and this is very important, when you are dealing with one of your clients, have a written contract. Make sure the client's expectations are set, that they understand everything, including the reliability of the information you're going to bring to them, that there may be errors and omissions and things like that. That should all be spelled out in your contract with the person. Now, you're going to strive for perfect information every time, and the better you are at delivering exactly what they need in a legitimate, ethical way that's usable, and sometimes that means usable in court, That's going to generate more business for you. But you have to set their expectations that sometimes a witness might not talk to you, or sometimes you know, the databases may have errors in them, or something extraordinary like that. Although as an investigator, you should definitely be weeding the good information out from the bad information. But my point is, make sure you have a strong written contract with your client. That's going to save you any kind of he said, she said issues later on. This is Larry Kaye, shadowanyone.com. Remember, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing.